Huh? It says, Assalamu alaikum Mufti. Jazakallahu khairan for doing this. I've recently started taking my knowledge of Islam a little more seriously, alhamdulillah, and so I've started following and studying one madhab under a teacher. I know this question is probably one of conflict, but I'd like to understand the rulings and differences of opinion on following or not following the madhab. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you and give you the success. There's a difference between following a madhab and between studying a madhab. A huge difference between the two, like the East and the West. To systematically study fiqh from a manual, a classic, traditional, orthodox book from A to Z in a simplified, easily laid out way. That's one thing. Under one teacher. Perfecting one style, crawling before you walk. That's one thing. Versus I'm going to follow a statement or a set and a collection of statements from A to Z. I'm not going to think. I'm not going to use my mind. I'm not going to look outside of this book or this madhab, and I'm going to follow it to the T. They are not the same, and oftentimes people, they mix and they jumble these two concepts together, intentionally or unintentionally. Obviously, once more, the sweeter of the two is bitter. If you intentionally mix the truth and the falsehood, then we all know the ruling of that. And if you unintentionally mix the truth and the falsehood, then it proves that you lack knowledge. You lack knowledge. And you're not scholastically accurate. So there's a huge difference. A beginner versus someone who's intermediate. There's a huge difference between someone who's intermediate versus someone who's an expert, has been studying for years. So following a madhab is not studying a madhab. Studying a madhab does not necessitate following a madhab. Studying under one teacher to learn the way with the intention of breaking off when you grow strong enough. That's a different story. There's a simple lesson that we learn from the animal world. We learn this from birds, the birds in the nest. They don't ask questions when the mother brings back the worm, when the mother brings back the rat or the mouse. They open their beaks and they eat. They eat, they eat, they eat. I want one bigger, I want one smaller, I don't want to eat this, they eat. They follow. But then they eventually have to venture outside of the nest. And the baby owls, it takes weeks and months for them to become expert hunters to go out and hunt themselves and get what they want to eat. But before they can fly and soar and grab with their talons, they have to follow. So if you have the intention of being in the nest for the rest of your life, that's one thing. If you have the intention of leaving the nest and growing and maturing and finding the truth yourself with this proof and evidence, then that's different. And oftentimes we mix between the two. We mix between the two. What's important is to take your time. What's important is to devote yourself to a simple, easy way in the beginning. And what's important is to realize seeking knowledge is of different levels and stages, just like growth. You grow and you mature. You can't expect someone who's been studying 10 years to behave like someone who's been studying 1 year. That's not right, and that is not what Abu Hanifa wanted or intended, or Malik, or Shafi'i, or Ahmed, or any other scholar from the scholars of Al-Islam. That is in brief, and Allah knows best.